Yay! It says I am alive here. Super stoked to be here. I was gonna say excited, and then stoked came out, and so here we are. It's a really beautiful day outside. I actually wish that they had outdoor seating because I would totally be out there instead. Hopefully, you're doing well. Got some mint tea going on. I haven't been here for a while, since before the full moon celebration. So I wanted to do a little bit of a recap regarding that, and also talk about some other things. So yeah, I brought like a whole library with me today because before the full moon, I actually went and saw Jason. This was like the first time that we met up before after my birthday, and so he basically gave me all of these books. I was so excited about them. Like, okay, we have Animal Liberation and Now, Diet for a New America, ooh, Total Revolution and Insider History of Hardline. Hey Kyle, how's it going? And The Militant Vegan. This is a like collection of a bunch of articles and stuff regarding that. So I'm super excited about that. Like I am a book nerd clearly, and these are like the first like vegan books that I have, other than my actual religious texts. Of course, the Gospel of the Holy 12, which is what changed my life. So that's why I pretty much bring this everywhere with me. Well, not everywhere, but it's very precious to me. So anyways, that was something that I wanted to just briefly mention. Thank you, Jason. Those are super cool. And I actually started reading a little bit through here. I took this up on the mountain with me, and it actually not only rained on us up there, but it snowed as well. So some of my books got a little bit damaged, but thankfully the event actually, like, for my opinion, it was one of the best, like, most enjoyable events that we've had yet. The whole crowd was very calm and chill. There actually was only like one drummer there, and he really like it was just like so nice that we weren't like yelling over drums. Other times, like, there's a whole hippie community around here that basically like to go out on the full moons and take psychedelics and basically just mindlessly drum and dance and do whatever degenerate behaviors that they do. Thankfully, I am divorced from that. Well, divorce kind of implies that I was with them, which I never was. I make it very clear that I am not part of the community. I'm not part of the rainbow family. I am not doing that for multiple reasons. Yeah. So anyways, hey, David D. David D says, looking great. Nice vegan books. Yes, thank you. And yeah, once I start digging through the books, I'll have more things to actually share with you regarding the contents of them. But yeah, I really love books, and I have so many of them. So I need to basically dedicate more time to reading instead of, well, I do a lot of chess puzzles, and, recently I've been playing more guitar. So I'm trying to do better with my, time management, and I'm really hoping that I can be inspired to write my own songs. I've kind of been on like a little bit of a music fast where I haven't been listening to any of like, I have like a kind of an issue where music is just like my favorite songs just replay in my head. I know it's not like I'm not the only one in that. And it's just like constantly these other voices in my head, and I don't want that anymore. So I've been trying to basically, whenever a song pops into my head, I'll either just sing it myself, or I'll just go and play guitar. Like, I refuse to actually put on the song and listen to it and like, reaffirm the programming. So, all right. Moon is recycled. The soul keeps us trapped in this matrix. Well, that is one of the things that I kind of want to talk to you today about. I mean, First of all, the word matrix is kind of interesting because it comes from the word mother. It's related to, the womb. The fact of the matter is that we are in the mother's womb. Like we're inside of the mother. She is all physical matter. And so there is a matrix acts, matrix aspect that is fundamentally true about this, but there's also the false matrix, this false, this illusion of what we think that this world is. So it's kind of like I don't know if convoluted is the right word, but they have really muddied the waters, so to speak, regarding this topic. But the whole point is really, regardless of that, ultimately, no one is trapped here. You consent to coming into this realm every time. If you don't want to be here, I do not encourage suicide. Like, I think suicide is really, really foolish. Because like I said, your soul came here for a reason. And if you off yourself, like you're gonna, wake up in the other realm, right? Like you physically die, your soul continues on. Your soul is gonna, have to keep going, and you're gonna realize, oh, I went in there for a reason. I put myself in there, and then I took myself out. Like it's gonna be, you're not going to be very relieved when you get out there, especially because the watchers and there are other, souls out there that are going to torment you for doing that as well. I would definitely encourage you to figure out why you came here. And ultimately, it kind of boils down to, did you come to make this world a better place, or did you come to make it the hell that we're experiencing now? Ultimately, this world is what we make it. And pretty much all of these other religions are teaching you that, this place, let me just move this around, that this world is like bad and you need to escape and go to heaven and all of these things. And if you just think about, what will happen if all of the good souls leave, then this world is only left with the bad souls. And ultimately, Sophia does seek wisdom, so she allows dark souls in. She allows dark things to happen, but she doesn't want to be a place that is known as a hell, that's miserable for every soul, that nobody wants to be in, that none of the good souls want to come to. So yeah, we'll talk about this in just another minute, but hi, Mike Mechanic, how's it going? Hello from Long Island, New York. Hello to the Ukraine. How's it going over there? Kyle says it was so cold. Yes, so let's stay on track for a second with the full moon and get that over with, and then we can get into the reincarnation stuff and all of your questions about the soul. So yeah, like Kyle said, it was really cold, but we actually had, I think that was the biggest fire that we had up there pretty much ever. And that was really, really fun. It kept me so warm. Like I wasn't bundled up the whole night, and I was really excited about that because all the other full moons, I'm pretty much like, oh my gosh, it's so cold. But yeah, it kind of rained on and off throughout the night as well, like a little bit of sprinkling, and it was just really, really nice. The people that were there, like we all really made like some really great connections going away from that. And yeah, overall, it was a pretty good night. There was a little bit of drama, which I'm not really going to get into. But yeah, I'm really excited about what the future holds, especially for the future of the full moon events, but also for the Shasta vegan community, which is, also forming. And yeah, I met up with, I'm not really sure if she wants to be a part, like she probably doesn't, so I'm not even going to say her name. But I met up with a friend yesterday for tea, and we were talking about scheduling monthly meetings for the Shasta vegan community, just so that we can get together and, have fellowship and talk about what we can do regarding veganism around Mount Shasta. and all of that. There's like a lot of different things that we can do in the community to raise awareness. There's bulletin boards that we can spam with vegan propaganda. Like there's a lot of things that we can do. So I'm super excited about that. And I will post more about it as soon as I know more about it, so that people can come if they want. Kyle said, I made a new dog friend. Yes, it was pretty nice. Like there was no drums. So it was a very calm environment. People bring their dogs. Sometimes like dogs have issues with drums. So it was kind of just really nice and peaceful night. And yeah, I'm still smiling about it. I'm trying to think of anything that kind of pops out as far as, I did kind of have a little bit, well, it kind of wasn't a vegan argument. It was more like I just get really fired up and passionate. And the person that was like, talking to me was very calm. So it didn't really, go into an argument, thankfully. But I would have argued that is ultimately what I am here for. Veganism is the hill that I will die on. And it's not actually, just about the animals. For me, veganism is a moral issue. If you read the teachings of the Christ in the Gospel of the Holy 12, in the Essene Gospel of Peace, these teachings basically say like it's a moral issue. It's a soul issue. It's, if you hurt animals, you can't be righteous. You can't know the mysteries of the kingdom. You can't touch holy things. You can't, so for me, I'm not just trying to save animals, but I do want to purify souls as well. Like that's, people want to say that this reality is a game. And to a certain extent, there is a quality of that. I mean, it's literally built off of the game of chess. You set your chessboard up and you have the 4 rooks, the 4 towers on the 4 corners. That's what the same thing of this world is as well. There's 4 towers on the 4 corners. There is, this ultimately a true religion, which I'm not particularly trying to get into right now, but both the light and the dark are, essentially worshiping the sun, and the dark wants to corrupt, wants to sodomize, wants to kill and eat, while the light side wants to protect and save, essentially. So we'll get into that at a different point in time. Where was I going with this? To purify souls, and that this is a game, but there are souls on the line, and we really shouldn't be taking that seriously, because a soul can only really get so dark before it doesn't want to exist anymore. And well, I definitely wouldn't stand in the way of some of these souls, going out of existence, especially the ones that only stay in existence to essentially, be my enemy. And yeah, all these other souls also that are like at the edge themselves. And so they're trying to basically pull all the other souls down with them, like, so that we go out of existence with them instead of just leaving us alone and going out themselves. It's kind of a complicated topic of souls, which I guess I kind of was trying to get into today with the reincarnation thing. But yeah, there's definitely different types of souls. There are souls that come in here that seek to towards the light, and that is who I'm hoping to connect with. Hopefully that's you. So anyways, Mike says, I wish I could have met you at your vegan get-togethers. Hopefully one day. Yeah, you definitely should come out here and visit and see what it's all about. There's a lot of commotion in here today. Hopefully you guys aren't hearing all the background noise. David D says, a religion of truth. Exactly. So if we all leave our differences, our denominations, our personal opinions and whatever behind, and we are uniting in truth, obviously there's going to be like one religion. That's the truth. And it's not any mainstream religion. It's bits and pieces of the truth are scattered throughout all religions. So it's kind of like, I see it as like a big puzzle. But ultimately, it really boils down to your actions and what you do. And you can talk about being a hybrid or an O negative or all these other things. We can talk about the souls that choose to come into inverted families and all of this stuff. But ultimately what matters is what you choose to do. We've all made mistakes in the past. We've all done evil when we were ignorant. But when we are made aware of our evil deeds and our shortcomings and our faults and stuff, what matters is what we do with that. And hopefully you feel inspired to at least make baby steps in the right direction to becoming the best version of yourself possible. So yes, David D says the soul in the mother drag her down. It's kind of interesting how the inverts call themselves drag. They're also dragging these royal titles through the mud. Queen is etymologically tied to female. King is tied to male. Like, don't give into their delusions by calling them kings and queens, because that's not what they are. They're abominations to God. They're monsters. I do pity them, but like this whole thing about that they're prideful and we should worship them and all of this stuff, it definitely leaves a bad taste in your mouth. It's like, you're the scum of the earth. But anyways, back to the topic. David D says the souls in the mother drag her down. Yes, so we can either sink in further into the cosmic ocean, right? The mother is this yellow submarine in the midst of the cosmic ocean, and when we raise our vibration, when we essentially do good, I know that's kind of like, people are like, oh my gosh, you're a hippie talking about vibration and stuff. Ultimately, it just boils down to doing what is good. And if the souls inside of the mother are doing good, if we're doing what we know inside that we're supposed to do, we're going to uplift her. Just like when you get really excited and you're like, sometimes I get so excited, I'm like, my soul could literally just like jump out of my body right now. I'm just so excited. Like that kind of energy. It's the same thing with the earth. So hopefully, like I'm saying, more people are seeking the light and trying to purify and become better so that we can make her better. And really, if just half of humans, I've said this so many times, if just half of humans would go vegan, we could have a golden age. We're literally consenting to this hell on earth by enslaving all the other species. So yeah, people want to think that these aren't linked, but they're fundamentally linked. And you can't have a golden age when people are still eating animals, because it's not a golden age. So let's try to finish up regarding the full moon, if there's anything else, and then I can talk about something that I try not to talk about that much, regarding the cyclical nature of our reality, because, well, we'll get into it in just a minute. It's kind of funny because I can't really think of anything that sticks out. I probably should have done the live stream right after, or written down some notes. But yeah, overall, the full moon was a really great time, and I'm really excited for the community that is growing around here and the real friends. Like, I've been in Mount Shasta for over 6 years now, and well, I already knew that it was going to be a battle coming in. I came here for war. I already knew that Mount Shasta is like the battlefield. Not, obviously everybody everywhere on earth is constantly having issues with demons. There's a spiritual battle going on there, but like this is like the bullseye, like, is right here on Mount Shasta. So I'm trying to come up with the right words, but struggling clearly. Mount Shasta, I knew it was going to be hard coming here, and it's like I'm doing so much to try to feed people, to try to promote the golden age, to try to, you know, essentially make a better world. And obviously, when you do that, you're going to have all of these forces against you. This already, I mean, I have it online too. You know, I have people lying about me and spreading rumors and all this stuff. And it's really frustrating. But I kind of said that to say that I'm really glad that I'm, you know, finally there's people around here that are like, you know, actually getting to know me and see where I'm coming from, and like I really appreciate that and value like real friendship and real people in a world full of everything fake. So, anyways, David says you can see your soul using Kirlian photography. They call it your aura. Yes. There are some different like mystical shops and stuff that actually have the equipment necessary to take your Kirlian photography photo. But there's also some interesting information regarding Kirlian photography and the soul that mainly comes from like other countries where they actually have been able to like observe people dying and take pictures of the process and like kind of watch it happen to see what these different how these different energies interact, how they leave the body, you know. So it's really interesting. We'll have to talk about that in a little bit more depth later. It's kind of that a lot of the like a lot of the stuff is hidden from us for a reason. They don't want you to know that you are a soul. They want you to think that you're, you know, an evolved monkey that came into being by a chance Big Bang. Like all of these things basically say you're meaningless, you don't matter, you're just on one little speck of dust in the midst of a whole sea of specks of dusts. Personally, I don't believe that there are any other physical realms. I think that this is it. The yellow submarine is all there is as far as physical goes. And, you know, like outside of the yellow submarine, as I was trying to say earlier, is the cosmic ocean. It's made of ether. There are a bunch of souls out there that are not allowed in. There's limited capacity in the yellow submarine. So for that reason, there are limited numbers allowed in. And also there's a limit essentially for how much evil is allowed in. The most darkest souls are not allowed in. The ones especially that want to come in here and end physical reality. So anyways, I guess I was trying to say is outside of this realm is the cosmic ocean of ether, and there are a bunch of souls that are watching us. They're, you know, outside of this realm, the Gnostics know that we are gods and goddesses, right? We are these divine souls that essentially, you know, we choose to come into this realm for whatever reason. Hopefully you came here to make the world a better place, because, you know, I can't do it by myself. So if everyone else just taps out, it's like, I still feel personally at a soul level an obligation to come in here and fight for the light. So it's kind of like, if I have to go in by myself, shoot, it's really gonna suck, but like I have to do it. So anyways, outside of this realm, you have all of your powers. You have you know, this god, this goddess, right? And whatever your soul is, whatever gender body you are born into, that's what your soul is. You can't change it. Like God doesn't allow a male soul into a female body, or that would be cursing that soul to gender dysphoria. Like that soul would have some serious like issues mentally. And that's on top of what we already have when we're not in the wrong bodies. Like, there's so many demons running rampant that, you know, they'll come up to a little girl who is like likes to play in the mud and play with trucks, and they'll try to tell her that she was born in the wrong body, that, you know, she's supposed to be a boy and all this stuff, you know. And that's just everyday stuff in this world these days. And that's not even including all the TV programming and all the chemicals and all this other stuff that's going into further further promote these confusions. So outside of this realm, you are either a god or a goddess. Inside you are too. You just have forgotten, and I'm hoping that I can try to help remind you of your divine nature. And so we're all of these souls, and a god could easily make, like, you can make your own realms outside of this, but they're not going to be physical matter. There's only one physical realm, and when it boils down to it, matter is all that matters. You might be able to catch the attention of some of the souls for a while with your new realm, but this is the main event. This is the true man and woman show. This is what matters. What matters is what matters. So, hey, Aspect 761, how's it going? Mike the Mechanic said they're deleting my comment. So frustrating. Oh no. Are you saying a word that might be getting triggered by the algorithm? Can you reword what you're trying to say? Okay. So these gods and goddesses who live, forever, essentially, like your soul can continue on existing as long as you want to. Before this physical realm was created, there wasn't this. So a lot of souls didn't have purpose. They essentially, you can get bored to death as a soul and not just basically cease to exist at a soul level. And it's all based on your will. So imagine these gods and goddesses all worming around in the outside, in the cosmic ocean. And this realm gives us something to do. We come in here, we have our minds wiped, we get to experience life and all of the ups and downs, the falling in love and having babies and all of this stuff that we experience inside this realm that we don't experience outside. Obviously outside there's love, but there's not, physical connection like that. There's not babies that come from that. There's not the joy of pregnancy. There's not the joy of eating. There's not it's just a different space. And I definitely appreciate the things in this realm that we don't have out there, especially my face lights up when I talk about getting pregnant and having a baby. If you can't notice, then you must not be able to see. This is really my driving desire in life. So it's one of the reasons this world is not safe for a baby. So I kind of have to do something about that before I can get to my actual dream, which is being a mom. David D says, in regards to the Kirlian photography experiences I was talking about, the Russians watch the soul leave the human body first. It leaves the mind, then the rest of the body. Finally, it leaves the heart. These experiments with dying people seem to only be allowed in Russia. No ethics committees. Okay, I knew it was from across the way. All right. Mike said, I believe the world will go vegan by choice or by force. I definitely agree with that. And I am not opposed to forcing people to go vegan. If I have to force you to go vegan, I'm not the bad person. You're the bad person, because I had to force you to stop hurting animals. It's no different than if I have to force a pedophile to stop hurting children. Am I the bad person because I forced them to stop hurting someone? No, they're the bad person for doing the bad thing and not stopping on their own. It just shows what a sad, dark, pathetic, compassionate soul that you are if you can't stop hurting animals on your own. This person yesterday, I'm not going to get too much into the details, but they basically interrupted my tea gathering with my friend who, we had this scheduled. We went there on purpose so that we could be able to chat and get to know each other. And this person basically, we should have sat outside probably was the problem, because we were right in the middle, and this person came and then they just didn't leave. And anyways, I'm not gonna get too much into this, but at one point, like Mount Shasta had a bunch of spiritual people, and a lot of them tried to talk a big talk, and then you basically ask them what they eat, and then they're like talking about being non-vegan. So anyways, this person is really coming off as this spiritual whatever. And then my friend asked me how my tea was, and I said, "Oh, it's gone." And the person said, "Oh, you want to have some of my chai?" And I was hesitant already, because usually it's made with milk. And then she was like, I mean, I would have drank it anyways. Like, you're a complete stranger. Like, I am not liking the interaction anyways. So the last thing I'm gonna do is take your drink. But anyways, yeah, then it got brought up the fact that it was cow's milk. And so I'm like, you're talking about sovereignty and all this stuff, but you're not sovereign to like, where's the cow sovereignty? Like cow stuff really fires me up. Actually, Jason sent me some cow stuff this morning, and I'm like, I can't even look at this right now because I'm going to cry. Like, I have such like a love for cows. But anyways, my whole point was this person is trying to like go on and on about like, oh, I feel bad when I eat meat, and I just have to have love in my heart when I eat the cow. It's just like, what are you talking about? You don't eat an animal that you love. You love your dog and cat. When they die, you're gonna go bury them. You're either bury or cremate, whatever. You're not gonna go and eat them. I actually told him, like, I flat out have a really hard time taking people seriously when they're like trying to preach at me and they're not vegan, because the Christ that I follow says that you can't even know the mysteries of the kingdom. You can't touch holy things. You can't be righteous if you have hands that are stained with blood, if your mouth is defiled with flesh. So save all of this preaching for somebody else, because I'm not having it. Like, I just have a really like very low tolerance, which is one of the reasons I stopped going to church a long time ago. It's basically gotten worse. I used to, when I first woke up to flat earth, it was something fun for me to do, to go and like try to talk to pastors about flat earth, because it's like you're preaching this Bible, but you don't even believe page 1. So what business do you have preaching the end of the book when you don't even believe the beginning? Like, anyways, I stopped doing that. It didn't take very long to go south, because none of them really are open to the truth. And then it's like, you're expecting me to be a sheep in your congregation, right? Like, you're the shepherd. Like, it's kind of sad that sheep are demonized, because I mean, sheep are really cute and beautiful, and God made them, and like a lot of different species seek a leader. Bees there's a queen bee. The lion pride has like a hierarchy. Like, all of the animal kingdom, like, they have hierarchies, and some of them have ruler wolf packs, like leaders, not rulers, but you know what I'm saying? So the whole concept of like following and stuff isn't always a bad thing. But obviously it's been used against us. And anyways, my whole point was, these pastors, they don't even know what's in the book that they're preaching. So it's like, anyways, I didn't mean to get off on that tangent. I'm kind of feeling a little bit scatterbrained today. So thanks for sticking with me. All right. Mike says choice equals lab meat or go vegan. Some might think they're being forced. And also the lab meat isn't vegan either. Obviously, if they're using cells of an animal, like I've kind of already told you before when we talk about cloning, like if I took a piece of my skin, like your soul and the physical are completely intertwined. So part of your soul goes with that piece of skin. Kind of makes me think of all the piercings that I've had. Like, they literally take skin out of your ears and stuff. Anyways, when you do the same thing to animals, if you want to use this chicken to create lab meat, you're still taking part of that chicken's soul, and whatever business they're doing in the labs, which obviously is going to be torturous to that soul. Like, nothing they do in there is good. Just like really hospitals, it's like medical malpractice is the standard practice. In these labs, they're not trying to make things better, really. So that chicken soul is basically going to be under constant like abuse and constantly being eaten and everything. It's like, that's horrible. I don't agree at all with this, but it's like these animals, at least the meat is like the end of their suffering. Thank God that soul gets to be released from the misery that you've put it through. Like, don't you dare use that as an excuse to eat meat either, because if you are partaking in that, like, you're corrupting your mind, body, and soul. You are doing evil. You can't just say, oh, I'm helping stop their misery. It's like they're in that misery because of you in the first place. It all starts with supply, or the demand for the supply. If we stop demanding it, then they're going to stop producing it. They're going to start producing more and more vegan stuff, because that's what we're going towards. Some people are like, oh, well, vegan stuff is all made by them. It's like, do you understand that we live in a completely controlled reality? They control all of the vegan stuff and they control all of the non-vegan stuff. The Walmart that you shop at has both stuff. Like, they control it all. So that doesn't like stop focusing on who is controlling it for a second, and think about what's the moral issue. Are you going to go in and buy something that's made out of plants, or are you going to go in and buy something that's made out of the flesh of an innocent being that wanted to live? It's really that simple. Also, regarding the lab meat, from what I was reading, they are using FBS, fetal bovine serum, and basically they will go and deliberately kill pregnant mother cows so that they can take, I don't want to say fetus, I absolutely hate that word, the baby that's growing inside of her, and painfully drain it of blood. Like, truly evil. And this fetal bovine serum is used like as standard practice in like cell culture labs and stuff all across the world. Like, this industry is truly evil. And how could you, like, people, I don't know, it's just like I'm at a loss for words, because how could you justify some places deliberately impregnating cows before they'll go to slaughter, so that the baby inside can be as big as possible, so that they can get as much blood out of it as possible. Like, the fact that people can do this, well, I don't even know, I shouldn't call them people, because they're demons. They're clearly not acting as humans any longer. And yeah, where's the humanity? DVD says, what is the point in just existing as a soul? This realm gives us purpose. Exactly, David. And all of the fun things that we get to do. Like, I just am so focused on being a mom. Like, I can't wait to do that. And you don't get to do that outside this realm. So yeah. Aspect 761 says, will you have a full moon celebration this month, October 28th? I am not planning on having an event at this point. It was literally snowing up there the last time that we were up there. But I can let you, are you on Facebook or something that you should reach out to me and like message me so that I can tell you when the events are and stuff. Because YouTube really isn't a great platform for connecting, in my opinion. I really actually hate interacting on YouTube other than the live stream. I don't really like doing like the comment section and stuff. It's just, I don't know. Anyways, that being said, Aspect 761, we are in the very beginning phase of planning a vegan holiday get together. So I'll keep you guys in the loop regarding that as well. It'd be really awesome. We're talking about renting this one space that has like a stage and stuff, so that we can do like karaoke or open mic. And it's kind of fun too, because yesterday I was talking to my friend and asked her if she wanted to get into chess as well. So I'm kind of like spreading chess around. I'm like, it'd be really funny if we have like these vegan gatherings and everyone just playing chess. It's like, is this a vegan gathering or is this chess? But anyways, I'm just really excited about the community that is forming around here. Mike Mechanic says, I'm so restricted. I reposted a video of someone who was eating 132 days of watermelon. He said we had heaven on earth. Are you talking about Bobby Smith? I'm not really sure what day Bobby is on, but they were doing some sort of watermelon fasting. And there's this group called Fruit Up with Bobby Smith that's been really inspirational for me, because all of these people are just like all fruit. And it's also kind of interesting to see that like they're not really coming from like the vegan circle. They're kind of being introduced to fruit in their own different ways and coming to veganism through that. So it's really quite fascinating. I would actually probably say they're more plant-based than anything, obviously. Well, I shouldn't say obviously, because most people don't know. Veganism is about the animals. So people that are like, oh, I stopped being vegan. It's like, did you stop caring about the animals? I don't know. Yeah, people that kind of say like to each their own or really don't make a big fuss about it, I would consider them plant-based as well, because for me as a vegan, like I'm a militant vegan, I'm like, I'm ready to fight, kill, and die over this. And so it's like, there definitely should be a different category for people that are like, oh, I'm vegan because it made me lose weight. It's like, you're not vegan. Mike the Mechanic says, he said we had heaven on earth. Now it's hell on earth due to eating meat. Exactly. You have no idea how hard I had to work to convey that message. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not really sure. Nothing that you even said was anything that should be stopped. So I don't understand. Hey, Michael Ray, how's it going? Aspect 761. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. Facebook is my main thing, and when I'm banned from there, I'll go to Instagram. But that's the main ways to get a hold of me. Yeah. Anyways, Mike says, I'm not advocating for lab meat, but some will think they're being forced to go vegan, but it'll be a good thing. Well, they are going to be forced to go vegan, and I'm really happy about it. I'm happy for the hammer of justice to come down. It's like, yeah. They call people animals. Oh gosh. I gotta control myself, because these people in front of me are talking about like being saved and set apart and sanctified while they go home and eat animal flesh. What are you sanctified and set apart? How are you any different than anybody else in the world? Like, anyways, it gets me really fired up, because so many people try to say like, oh well, Jesus ate fish and all this stuff. It's like, any prophet of the creator has to do the creator's will, and the creator's will is for us to be vegan. So it's kind of like putting two and two together. So obviously that's why this is the Christ that I resonate with. He's the one that taught God's will for us. So yes. Mike Mechanic says, oh my gosh, I want to karaoke with Anana. All right, well, I'll let you know when the thing is, and maybe you'll be able to come. There's a lot of people around Mount Shasta, myself included. My family is all the way across the country. Pretty much my whole family lives in Ohio, and I'm not planning on going there for the holidays. Holidays are hard anyways. Like, I just want to go in and like flip the table. They used to be such an awesome family bonding experience for me, because, I was asleep and I was perfectly fine with eating animals. So we would just hang out all day. We'd graze on food, and just like food was a very big central part of every family gathering. And for my family, it still is. Probably one of the reasons why I really like putting on the full moon celebrations. Like, I love food, and just really cool to be able to make all of these different things that, people go to like a barbecue or something expecting burgers and cheese and stuff. And I am able to make that with plants and show them that, it can be done. But anyways, my point was, family holidays and meals and stuff are just really, really hard. And yeah, the last time The last time I was home, I cried so much the last time I was home. My dad was trying to tell me this story about like hunting a deer. I actually left the table. I cried. I'm just like, I couldn't even listen to it. At another point in time, I just like broke down. I'm like, I really shouldn't even come here because it's just really hard on me when people don't understand how important that it is for me. It's not just like, oh, it's your diet. It's like you're eating a baby and I want to flip this table over right now and like just go crazy. So yeah. Anyways, having a gathering here for, I won't say orphans, but we all are like away from our home and kind of separated, and just having a nice real vegan like Shasta family is something that I really, really would like. So hopefully that will continue to form around me. I'm going to manifest it and, keep pouring into it. Aspect 761 says probably a church group. Yeah, something like that. There's two older couples. I would definitely travel to Ohio to karaoke with you. Oh, California is a harder trip. Well, I don't know when I will be going to Ohio. We'll have to see. Have to see about that. Aspect 761 says I have relatives in Ohio. That's nice. It's a nice place to be from. It is fun to visit. It brings back a lot of good memories, but it's just too hard on me. Like, yeah, when I went there and I would go over to my family's house during the day, and then it's like, all right, we're getting ready to eat, so I would have to leave. It's like it's just not a good situation. Obviously, I mean, I could have stayed, but I just can't force myself to like. It makes me want to cry. It's like, especially when they, you know, I genuinely think they do want it to do God's will, and if their eyes are open to the truth, then they will change. But it's just like they're not ready for that, and yeah. A prophet is never accepted in their own hometown is something that comes to mind, because even the Christ was like rejected in his hometown, and he was the one that was telling people the truth. It's like, especially when it comes to your family and like your parents, the ones that changed your diaper, they're like, I remember, like when you were just 2 years old, you're not going to come in here and tell me like that my religion is wrong, or that the earth is flat, or that I should be vegan, or any of this stuff. It's like, all right, just have to wait for someone else to come along and rip the Band-Aid off while I just try to keep planting seeds, I guess, because I really can't keep my mouth shut. Like, I have a really hard time. It's kind of interesting because my sister, and I were talking about it. We're actually both Virgos, but we're just so different. And she kind of like was telling me that you kind of value like, speaking your mind or the truth over the relationship, whereas she, will bite her tongue for the relationship. I'm just like, where's the matches? We're lighting this bridge on fire, and it's going on fire over the animals. Like, you better watch out. Like, yeah. So, anyways, I'm ranting now. So, Dimitri, how's it going? Hello from France, dear chess queen. Reincarnation of I don't even know how to say that, but I know who you are talking about, the chess goddess, which let's actually post a little. I should look up how to actually. Kaisa? Is that how you say it? She was first mentioned during the Renaissance by an Italian poet. Anyways. Goddess of love and war at your service. Mike the Mechanic says, I use the opportunity to try to wake people up about the severe health problems that eating meat brings to the human body. So I tell your dad how many parasites he has at the dinner table. LOL. That might work. It really sucks that you have to like focus it on the person and like, oh, don't you know how sick you are? It's like, you're killing an animal, you psychopath. You deserve to be sick. So yeah, I need to work on my approach a little bit. The Essene Christ basically would come up to people, and basically he would come up to people that had birds in cages, and people that were hunting lions and someone that was like beating a horse, and he always just had the right thing to say to like to break through to them and to change their mind. And that's definitely something that I want to move towards. I'm not here to basically like bicker with people. Like, I actually want to make a change and get them to go vegan. So it's definitely something that I will be working on in the future. But anyways, I'm probably gonna get off of here now. I'm kind of ranting. Oh wait, I forgot to talk about the main event. All right, there's a lot of chaos going on here today. So, regarding reincarnation and the cyclical nature of our reality, it's kind of not something that I like to focus on, because going through something over and over and over again can be very tiring and have its own types of issues. So I like to try to focus on the positive, and why I do what I do. Ultimately, I want to keep this reality going, even if it is cyclical, because it gives souls something to do. It gives us a place where we can have babies and have, we have the ability to make a paradise on earth. Like, the golden age is the light at the end of the tunnel that we're going through all of this darkness for. There's a reason, there's a purpose for the pain. There's, it's not just come here and suffer some more and then die, and that's the purpose of life. You want to go again. No one would really be here if that was the whole thing. So anyways, there is a cyclical nature of this reality, and I was recently talking to someone who was questioning the situation regarding inverts, those that are running our world, those that are born into families that invert them from birth as part of family traditions. And I was telling them that souls choose to come into these roles. Let's take, for instance, Donald Trump, dickless Don Trump, a female to male invert who has, for me, I think they're like the prime candidate for Antichrist, because they have the majority of people deceived. Even the supposed Christians are like ready to make this clown their next Jesus. Like, it's really disgusting, actually, to see mainstream Christians worship this thing. But anyways, well, mainstream Christianity has its own issues, but if the soul that is Don Trump chose not to come into that role, who would play that role? That Donald Trump soul would be outside of this realm, looking in, watching somebody else get praised as God on earth, right? So there's that reason, right? Even for myself, if I didn't come in here, then who would do what I do? There's a spot for me that, well, I don't think anybody else can actually fill. So here I am. I have an incentive to keep coming back. And these other clowns, like these other ones that know the truth of our reality, they know full well they're going to be inverted from birth. They're going to be given into these families that are going to not only invert, but how many other abuses do they go through? Some of them are sodomized as children, like ritually, and that's just the tip of the, like, those are pretty much like the worst things, but that's obviously not where their abuse stops. So yeah, they have a reason for being that, and that's with all of your celebs, all of your favorite celebs, all of these idols that you used to have before you woke up and realized that they were inverts. All of that love, that adoration that they get from humans while we're deceived, that keeps them going. That gives them incentive to come into that role. They get fame, they get fortune, they get pretty much everything that Satan can give them in this world to go into that role. So that's why they do it. It's really not a big like mystery once you realize that, these roles need someone to play. You know how Madonna is a character. There was originally this soul There's an original, but now it's been replaced many times, right? Madonna is the name of that character, and any different actress, well, I should say actor, right? Because they're MTFs, they're males. That was weird. Males. They can take this role, but people are like, oh, that's not the real Madonna. I'm like, Madonna's the actual character. So there is some truth to the people are saying that there's this actor-based reality type thing. There is definitely some truth to that allegation. Alex Jones is another one that's been swapped out many times. I actually have a video about Alex Jones because I was trying to get to the bottom of who is Alex Jones, and looking at their older videos, I was left like, how many Alex Joneses are there? Because you can look through these videos, it's like different facial characteristics in this one, then this one, and then this guy has a completely different haircut. Like, it's just, they swap out entities. And one of the things they're also trying to do is basically swap out some of the characters and say that they're being executed, or they're in Gitmo, they're being punished for their sins. That's not what's happening. And I also want to say that I don't believe when any celebrity dies either. I don't believe the story surrounding their death. I don't believe that they died. I would need a lot more evidence before I believe anything that comes from mainstream news, because they're liars. They basically get us to idolize these people, have them be influences in our lives, and then fake their deaths so that they can, get all of this loosh, this negative energy from us, of us being depressed, us crying, us being sad over a deceptive demon that didn't even like us exiting stage left. It's like, so yeah. As far as the cycling goes, my soul comes here to do the same thing every time. So I end up at Mount Shasta every time. This is where I have to be to do what my soul came here to do. So it's kind of like one of the reasons that that I am Inanna, because Inanna always comes in and does the same thing over and over again, which they try to say like doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is insanity. Well, you don't have to play the game the same way every time that you come in, right? Every decision that you make will produce a different outcome, will cause different things to happen. So not every time that we come in do we get a golden age. Sometimes the new world order happens. That's the default other future. If we don't get our act together, if we don't unify together and create a better world, then it won't happen. It's not like guaranteed to happen, which is one of the things about this reality, like the mother seeking wisdom. So having a guaranteed ending, where's the actual wisdom in that? It's kind of like you have to be able to have success and failure to be able to truly, gain wisdom in that manner, at least. So my soul comes to Mount Shasta time and time and time again to do what I do. And there are other souls that are also drawn to Mount Shasta. So, you will interact and cross paths with the same souls over and over and over again. And that's one of the reasons that, you can like see someone or just meet someone and you just feel this really like strong feeling of familiarity, or like I'm not really sure why, like I really just like I love them as a sister or brother or something. Like I just really have this connection with someone, and that happens here a lot. So it's really cool. I mean, not just for me, but I've heard other people saying this stuff. So yeah, it's very interesting. There's like always this kind of faint feeling of like nostalgia and just deja vu almost to a certain extent. So it's kind of interesting to think about it, and see different things, repeat themselves. What just came to mind was that like one of the first story, the first story that I know of that happened between Inanna and Lilith. We were fighting over this tree, and in 2017, me and a girl who manifested Lilith on the mountain literally fought online over a tree. Like you can't make this stuff up. It's just really interesting how things repeat themselves, and I really wish I still had that conversation because, well, it was hilarious. I won the conversation. I won the fight, and then it disappeared. I like still got screenshots. Anyways, hello, Miss Morgane. Is that how you say her name? Kind of rhymes. I don't believe anything mainstream media reports. Exactly. In the gardens of the health food store in Shasta, I was able to capture photos of tiny fairies. Oh, that's really cool. It's a magical place. Very interesting. The health food. Are you talking about Berryville, or are there other stores? Like, that's really the only place really that I go in Mount Shasta because of all of the, well, mainly the nutritional yeast is my pool because I'm addicted to vegan cheese, and that's like the key ingredient. So, okay. Mike says the object is to convince them to make the world better. One person out of 5 at the dinner table is a success when you think about it. True, especially when that one person starts to plant seeds. But yeah, 1 out of 5 really isn't good enough, though, is it? Mike says, I believe Alex Jones was the comedian Bill Hicks. Bill Hicks was one of them that played the role, but if you watch the actual video, you'll see that there's like, Bill Hicks was not the only one. What was revealed to me was that the real Alex Jones was a real male, and he was doing what Alex Jones does. And he was actually gaining popularity and influence in his area, and the powers that be took care of him, and then replaced him with an invert lookalike. So we'll see. Mike, he gave evidence against that in his Joe Rogan podcast. Okay. Yeah, Joe Rogan is a clown. I'm pretty sure they like bash veganism as well. And they've been posted in the Transvestigation Disclosure Now group. That should tell you all you need to know about Joe Rogan. Mike says, I believe Joe Rogan was also replaced. Therefore, they tell you what they want to tell you. I haven't looked into that before, but I am not surprised if it has. Let me just think of if there's anything else regarding the topic of the cycles. Yeah, I definitely think that my soul chose to come here during this time to do what I'm here to do, and it's one of the things I'm really passionate about. Giving people hope, and the way that I guess I try to go about that is trying to wake them up to the true nature of our reality, and to why their soul came here. Because if you don't know why your soul came here, it's going to be really dark, and there won't be that light at the end of the tunnel, and then anything's possible. So yeah, I definitely would encourage you to try to do some soul searching and figure out why you're here, so that it can make it a little bit easier. There's a reason that I put up with all of the abuse that I go through, and it's because I have to get to where I'm going. So it's like, let's just carry on, shall we? All right, I'm going to get off here. I actually really want to go outside and enjoy this beautiful day. I might go on a little bit of a walk. I got some, I actually need to go and do some digging at my house so that I can get the trenching done, so I can put septic and power and all of that stuff to my future castle. So I am going to get off here. Aspect 761 says Rogan pushes psychedelics and weed. Okay. Mike says I'll pass on Rogan's pot and shroom advice. That's funny. All right. My soul came here to spiritualize matter. Okay. Well, I like that. As long as we're all on the path and doing what is good, then that's what's right. As long as it's not like some twisted meaning. The demons would be like, I came here to spiritualize matter, and what they mean is that they want matter to cease existing, so they want us all to choose the spiritual realm instead of matter. And some tweaker just came in here. Okay, all right, I'm gonna get off of here. Thank you guys for joining. I apologize for all of the commotion, and If you have any other questions, feel free to hit me up, and I will catch up with you next week, same time, same place. May God and the Goddess bless you.